Well, good afternoon, everybody. It's Keith Andrews sitting here in the Birmingham, Alabama area today. Last week came to you live from Houston at the CCIM meetings, but you notice a little difference in my video. I'm in front of my computer this week at my desk, so that's good. Today is October 7th, 2024. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on in, I'm sure, all of our worlds. The tough part is what was it, about 10 days ago? We got a lot of folks over here in the Southeast US, mainly North Carolina, Georgia, Florida. Man, a lot of stuff happened. I know that EXP World Holdings, we have, what is it, extend a hand or whatever, but you guys, I'd take it serious this time if you feel like you can contribute to that. That is a real thing. It's like 100% of that goes to the people in need. I know if you've gone through any kind of a disaster, fire disaster, whatever, you would notice that you get messages from workplace or through workplace from EXP asking if you're safe or whatever. I'm sure some of you've seen that. I get them too. And it's real. So answer it, yeah, I'm safe, or no, really, I could use some help. And it happens. It will come your way. And then the rest of us, what was this, like 89,000 of us across the globe, we can contribute to that some way or another as well. So it's a good thing. And gosh, Jackie, you're not going to escape it this time. That sucker's coming across to you as a hurricane. So I hope you be okay on the East Coast there. It's coming your way. You know that, right?
I do.
Yeah. So wow, that's a tough one. Anyway, so we'll hope for the best, pray for the best, and just we're there. I don't know if anybody needs people watching this video earlier this week before it hits again, real big time. You got to head north. I'm sure you can reach out to EXP. People have rooms for you. Coming up and visit us. Got to hit the road today or tomorrow though if you're going to do that. So anyway, take care. Now I'm saying all that because we're on a recording right now. I'd like to welcome you, all of these who have shown up today so far. This is really great. Mark, welcome back. Where are you, in New Jersey or New York, Mark?
Burlington, Delaware.
Delaware, that's it. Yeah, Delaware. Sorry. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we do business in Delaware, Maryland,
Yeah.
Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Florida.
Right. So, all right. So I put out a message to everybody today ahead of time. I got one person responded that they want me to bring up a subject matter. He actually wanted to, I guess, spearhead that, but he's not here right now, but that's okay. But in the meantime, today is October 7th. Not really sure what happened this time in history. Didn't really check that out today, but let me say on the front end of this recording, next Monday, we're celebrating Columbus Day. So that is a federal holiday, and I do not host these on federal holidays. So we will not be doing this next Monday.
Yeah, well, Keith, this time in history, 1 year ago today, Hamas attacked Israel and killed a lot of innocent.
Oh, was it today?
Yeah.
So it was today. Oh my gosh, I knew we were close to that.
Rather significant. So yeah.
Yeah, that's really huge. It's just heartbreaking, really, is what it is. It's just not good. So yeah, this is a day of infamy for Israel right now, and they get our prayers and our support as well. So always is where I come from. So thank you, Barry. Anyway, I forgot what I was about to say. Darn. But anyway, so I'd like to, Chad has made it. And is there anything on top of mind before we get to Chad's subject they want to bring up before I even say anything more? Anybody got anything you want to tell us about? Oh, I know. Yeah, no, I did say that, right? None of these meetings next Monday for me. I will not be doing this Monday. So
You mentioned that already.
Get that week off. All right. Okay. Anybody got anything?
I'm good.
So Mark, I'm going to expect, like, in the next few weeks, you or Eric or Scott or somebody, you can give us an update on how things are going with your prototype that you're working right now. because Chad's going to ask a question. He's going to bring up the same subject matter today, and I'm glad you're here. So we could just move right on into that, Chad, if you'd like, if you want to bring up either the statement or your questions you have for it or whatever. But go ahead and you're muted right now if you're getting ready to talk. So
Yeah, so been asked by a few people if I was ever going to start a team or a group. Never put a lot of thought and energy into it. I realized that over time, it's obviously kind of like the next evolution, right? Because it creates, leverage. Um, I can I can tell you what I went through when I joined. I came down to West Palm to join a residential team and start their commercial division, and it was also during COVID. It was 2 years of hell, so I'm choosing to not repeat that experience that I had with that team. Granted, it was a mostly residential team. It was me and two other commercial agents that I managed. Um, I guess what I'm looking for, it's a really long-winded lead up to just say, I'm just looking for best practices. I mean, I own my own IT company for 20 something years. I think the largest we ever got employee headcount wise was about 15 people. But it's obvious to me, number one, that the leadership style required and the employer relationship are very different. Those are W-2 employees. They're technician types. So if you're familiar with this, they're type C, type S personalities, right? They're not extroverted. Um, on our side of the house, I wouldn't say everybody's extroverted in commercial, but maybe half. They're all 1099s. And then I couple all of this with the fact that I've heard the stat was that 1 in 7 or 1 in 8 of us makes it past the 2 year mark before they just quit the business. And then I've also heard stats, now granted, I believe these are residential stats, that um, agents generally stay with the team no more than 2 years and then go out on their own. So if I'm going to create this thing, right, what sits in the back of my mind is, number one, how to beat those first two statistics, right? To get people to close faster, but also to want to stay on board. And I feel like anybody who's remotely entrepreneurial, like I can tell you for sure, I'll probably never join a team. I'm just having owned my own business for 20 years. I can't see myself joining another team again, but I can't see myself running one. But I also just kind of feel like a little bit like the deck is kind of stacked against us. And so I'm seeing what works and what doesn't, what the best practices are, what the splits are, how you manage it, what value you're providing above and beyond, um, you know, being a mentor or a coach and being available to help close a deal, right? Or I assume it's either that and or lead gen are the two primary value motivators of joining a team, right? Well, at some point, the lead gen component, I would imagine, starts to fade away, and that's why those 2 year agents, like, they leave within 2 years because they're like, you know what, I can generate enough of my own leads now. So why do I need you, right? And that, I feel like that's like half the battle. So sorry, I realize I'm a little all over the place, but it's what's going on through my head is like, A, is it worth it? And B, if so, how, when, why, what? All right, I'm done. There you go. Go nuts.
hey, before anybody answers real quick, Chad, hey Max,
Hey,
yeah, you're unmuted right now, big guy. If you're okay, I'm just giving you a heads up.
Okay.
Before anybody answers, a couple of things. What I understand when it comes to groups is you said it helping create business for them. You say lead generation, but there's other aspects to the groups. What are the costs involved when you're doing a group, right? I mean, I think it's a little bit different than a brokerage where, we had our own franchises and you're the broker and you own the darn thing and you have all these tremendous costs just to exist. It's a little bit different than the groups that we're talking about. So I just want to throw a couple of those out there. So when you guys want to start talking about this, there are differences, as you know. So anybody want to answer Chad or make any suggestions or do input onto what he's asking about? Because he's trying to decide on, we can get groups here in commercial now, but what's that really mean? And
I can jump in here if you're okay with that.
oh yeah, Mark, go for it.
Chad, for me, I look at it a little differently in regards to how quickly an agent leaves the business in general, right? the lion's share of them leave because they don't feel like they're getting the support that they need. They're not getting the education that they need. They're not getting the mentoring that they need. My first go at real estate was with Keller Williams. You pay all the fees that they have, you pay. You're supposed to have a mentor that helps you and teaches you, and that never comes with the package. They never actually produce themselves to make you better. Uh, so with regard to how quickly they leave the industry, in general, I think that if they're with a team that gives them the tools and resources that they need to be successful and the support that they need to be successful, they're more apt to stay in the industry in general. When it comes to keeping them on a team, there's two ways to look at that. The obvious thing is that when a person leaves a team, everything that they were getting for free, other than just the leads, they have to go get for themselves. All the things that the team pays for, the integrations, the marketing, all the other things that go together with being on a team to generate not just leads, but the synergy and the integration between all the collective systems so that they're working appropriately so that you can spend your time and effort on just real estate now becomes your problem, because we all know that when you get sort of left on your own with EXP and there are 27 different programs and they're not always integrated and working as they should, that takes all of your time away from what you should be doing, which is selling real estate. So when someone is with a team, there's two ways to look at them leaving. One, if they want to leave, they have to be educated in the fact that all these things that we're providing for you, you're going to have to go do for yourself. Now, it's not just a matter of producing your own leads. The whole back end of the business part of it, they also have to be running for themselves instead of a team running it for them so they could just do sales. Question to them would be is, how much is that going to cost you in dollars and cents, and how much is that going to cost you in your time away from your sales efforts? Turns out that what you pay a team and what it costs you to operate on your own really are not all that different if you're on a team that helps you be a top producing agent. The other aspect of it for me, and it's just me, and you know, Eric, who was on the call a minute ago, I don't see him on the screen, he might be off the screen, and Scott Deputy, who are my partners in the endeavor that we're taking on here, it's our goal to make you so successful that you don't want to stay on the team, that you go start another team and you raise people, you start attracting agents for that team. Because it's not just about the commissions, it's about the shares of stock that every clear, fractional shares of stock that you get for every closing that everybody in your downline generates for you. It's for the rev share and everybody in your downline generates for you. So if you're going to create a team, you can do it with the closed mindset that I want to keep them in and I only want them working for me. And what do I got to do to keep them with me? Or you can look at it in the way that you can say, I want to make you so successful that you want to go start your own team. Because if I can put 20 people together on a team and 10 of them are so successful that they leave, they can go start 20 more. They can go attract 20 more people to their downline, which is still in my downline. So what I lose in commission, I'm picking up in rev share and stock and everything else that goes with it. And it frees up a position to put somebody else in. So it's not like the team part of it goes away. It's just replaced with a different agent because the bird that you've been nurturing all this time has gotten to a point they can fly on their own. And when they leave the nest, you're not done. They keep paying you.
Anybody else? Okay, so one of the inside, oh, go ahead, Nelson.
So I've been in the business a long time. I've worked on teams and I've found that it's good to create a team of people that have different skills and the people kind of gravitate to what they do well and share their expertise to the outcome of of the group. So, I mean, I'm good at doing analytics, but I hate it. It takes a lot of my time and it stresses me out and I'd rather somebody I know is really good at that, give them to do it and I can review it. I know enough to review whether it's a good report. Some people are just really good at engaging new clients and some people are really good at follow-up. But sometimes it's not easy to be good at all those things. And so having a group that you work with together to accomplish more, 1+1+1 means more than 3. That's when a group is a good thing.
Agree.
Definitely, Keith, do I have the ability to screen share?
You should, as far as I know.
Well,
Hey,
I mean,
Rich,
I
you
know how
got
to
your
do it.
hand
I
up.
guess I guess I'm asking if like there's a restriction or something. Let's see
I
here.
don't think there is. Rich has his hand up. Go ahead, Rich.
So, Chad, as a guy who's been a broker owner for 16 years, we built a company up to 160 brokers in the #2 market in the country, did over $2 billion a year in revenue. As a COO of Sperry Commercial, um, we tried everything. We tried to draw, we tried paint, and we tried doing everything. At the end of the day, when I was back at Marcus and Millichap back in the day, and it seemed really cold-hearted that they would cut guys loose after 6 months if they didn't make their 100 calls a day. In hindsight, going back all those years, I'd say they were doing everybody a favor. Because the reality of it is that I think your numbers are optimistic. I think it's even worse than that. I think we still have a very high 95% attrition rate even after a year. And everything we tried, and I assure you, between Sperry, Marcus and Millichap background, everything that we have all the training, we have all the mentorship, everything humanly possible to give people the right tools. And what you have to understand is nothing moves the needle. And understand this, and I had this conversation with Rand Sperry once. I said to Rand, I said, if I said to everybody on this call, 90% of the world is right-handed, would anybody disagree with that? Probably not. I mean, you can just Google it and it's a statistical fact. 90% of the world is right-handed. I would make the argument that 90% of the world is a W-2 and that only 10% of the world is entrepreneurial. And Rand Sperry said to me, well, thank God, because the world would be total chaos if it were anything else, because the 10% need that 90% for support. But the bottom line is 9 out of every 10 people that you bring into this business are not wired to be entrepreneurial. And there's nothing you can do about that. That's a statistical fact, and there's nothing you're going to be able to do about that. However, what you do have to do is you have to have the training and mentorship. Without those 2 things, you're done before you even begin. So you got to have that. But beyond that, it's just cultivating and hoping to find that diamond in the rough, that 1 in 10 people that just happens to have that drive, that motivation, whatever it takes to get through the hard part of this industry, especially in the beginning, which is prospecting. And if you can get somebody through that, then yeah, then you can cultivate them and turn them around to being a superstar. And I've seen guys come in that I thought, man, this guy's a 5-tool player. He's got it all. He's got personality. He's smart, but he doesn't have the discipline. In fact, the guys that we found that we've had the most success with have either had an athletic background or a military background. And mostly that's because of the discipline. And this is a very disciplined industry. And if you don't have the discipline, then you can forget it. So I would say never get too upset if you have a high attrition rate, because there's just nothing you can much do about that. But obviously, you just need to keep cultivating the talent that has shined above and does the prospecting, does all the hard work, and just needs to learn the X's and O's, because that all comes in time. Teaching folks how to underwrite, teaching them how to close deals, and doing all that comes with time and experience. But getting them on the phones, it's the #1 obstacle from keeping people from succeeding, and it's why we have such a high attrition rate.
Thank you, Rich.
Thank you.
Chad. It looks like it's something you may have created there, Chad.
Yeah, so I just kind of brain dumped, just kind of brain vomited, if you will, on paper, what it might look like in terms of structure. In terms of basic requirements, right? They'd have to join EXP, obviously. I would make them enroll the $250 SFS program and get their MICP designation within year 1. The reason I do that is I'm mentoring a lot of these very new agents, and I'm sure you guys have all go through this as mentors as well, is that there's just a huge confidence gap. And one of the questions that they always are scared or mortified of answering in a sale is, how many deals have you done or what's your experience, right? And instead of trying to tiptoe around that, I tell them that the reason why that they're asking that is they probably smell some sort of desperation on you because you're saying you're doing something wrong. So if you fill yourself with knowledge and you're preemptively asking questions because anxiety is cured by competency and control, then you'll probably mitigate 50% to 2/3 of those questions. So I want them to do the designation A for the learning, but B for the letters that'll add a little, a little cape to them. It's like wearing Air Jordans. Will they make you jump higher? Probably not, but you'll think they will, right? That's the logic behind that anyway. Obviously accountability and coaching, yada, yada, yada. In terms of what I would add, full-time VA to help with everything from marketing, social media management, creation, transaction management, because we all love sky slips so much. Obviously coaching and mentoring, and then I want to purchase tools where there are gaps relative to our own tech stack and EXP. Get Reonomy. My guess is I'll need a bigger subscription, obviously, than 1,000 exports a year. Retail lease track is another low hanging run just because I have myself and a bunch of other mentees do a lot of retail leasing. And then this is how I thought about doing the splits. No idea if this is even smart. It's what made sense to me. The one thing I've always hated about this business, and I've never actually ran into it except for my first team, was like this whole 50-50 split where you do it for like years. Even when I heard the mentor program was 50-50 for 3 deals, I was like, whoa. But then I'm like, you know what? That's okay. Like a limited engagement, right? I feel very strongly against 50-50 splits that are like 2-3 years, and then you get another 5 or 10%. This is what I've heard about the major brokerages, and I'm like, that's just not cool. It feels very draconian to me to do it that way. So this is the structure I had. Basically, it's like a 10%, for being on the team is this one here. Another 10% for leads generated by me. So when you add these two together, obviously you get 20%. Our average referral is 25 to 30%. So the way I look at it, I'm giving you a 5 to 10%, discount on my leads. And then any deals where I've got to get directly involved, interface with the customer, save the deal, help it close, whatever, then it's another 10. So worst case scenario, you would offer me up to 30% on a deal, but with the idea that this one should definitely be rarely used, and this one will probably fall off over time, I would think. And then, I thought maybe like when they get the last deal that helps them cap for the year, like they wouldn't know me a percentage on that. I don't know. Yeah, that's it. That's what I have in my brain right now.
So
Pick it
what
apart.
I'm gathering from your topic today is you're trying to work on, well, what do I do if I want to create a group? Because I know several of us have probably been asked that of others. Hey, would you like to, if you start a group, I want to be part of your group. And then the question is, well, what does that really mean? But yeah, I understand what you're doing today, Chad. I don't blame you. Especially,
And the other
yeah.
thing, honestly, is, and maybe I don't know what I was expecting, but when I've been thinking about this for a few months, and then EXP rolled out their group stuff, and there was like 4 documents, and most of the documents just focus on like icon, rev share. One of the documents where it discusses the 2 types of groups. One's a domestic partnership, which is a male husband-wife team, and then the other one is a advisor group, like like what I would be doing, right? The domestic partnership took up like 75% of that document, and then there's like maybe 2/3 of a page for our kind of group, and I'm like, this is what I was waiting for. I guess I was looking for more structure
Look,
or
Chad,
something.
actually, it's actually coming at us in phases. Sean made that statement either on one of my Zooms or
Oh, okay.
at the IRL. I can't remember. I think it was one of our Zooms in the past month or so that it is coming in phases. And what Mark and Eric and what they're doing could become part of that phase thing down the road too. They're doing a prototype right now, cross brokerage group or cross brokerage team. So that means realty and commercial together. Blair has his hand up though. I don't want to forget about him. Go ahead, Blair.
Thank you, Keith. Just two things. I couldn't agree more with Rich. Having mentored, trained for decades,
Right.
yeah, if you can keep 10% of the people, you're consider yourself very good. The other crossover that I've learned brings a lot of value.
Hey, hang on a second, Blair. Chad, if you're done sharing, go ahead and turn it off because I think it takes up some
Oh.
video. Yeah,
Yeah, sure.
yeah. Go ahead, Blair. Sorry.
In addition, I've always found that a teacher, somebody that has been in the educational world for a while, at least 5, 10 years, comes over to real estate for basically the same reason that somebody that's been in the military or in that type of environment, they can succeed. They are disciplined. They understand programs. They know how to execute them. And I've had a tremendous amount of success with people coming in from the educational world. That's all.
Oh, from the, I see what you're saying now. I didn't quite grasp what you were, okay. I thought you were just saying somebody who is a educator, like about our industry, but you're saying actually from the educator, like they were a teacher. Add that to my notes.
Hey, Chad, are you done sharing?
Oh, I thought I'd turned it off. Did I
No,
not
you
turn it
didn't,
off?
you didn't quit the sharing part.
Okay, hold on.
We see your front. We see that this laptop belongs to you.
There you go. Did that fix it?
Yes, sir. Thank
Sorry,
you.
I'm used to Google Meet. Sorry.
Blair, did you hear the question Chad asked you at the end? Okay.
What was it, Chad?
Well, I guess I wasn't quite grasping what you were saying in the beginning. I thought you were saying, I'm talking about educators from a more of a euphemistic perspective, like somebody who embodies education and that can train your people, but you're saying actual literal people that used to be teachers, like in a school.
Yes.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, good. So did we help you today, Chad? We get through enough for you?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
yeah, the biggest thing I got out of this is I got to get rid of the head trash about the attrition component. It sounds like it is what it is. Get over it.
Yeah, get over it.
And focus on what I can control and go from there. So that's what I'm going to do.
You know what, Chad?
Okay.
I applaud you for trying to map it out and construct a team like that. I think that's a great way to do it. The one thing is people evolve, and then what happens is they gain some more experience, then they think that they're worth more. And that's just an ongoing management headache for the guy running the team. It just is what it is. And you know, you kind of want that, because if people don't have ambition, then they sure as hell aren't going to succeed in this business. So good for you for laying it out. It may hopefully have a foundation for you, and you can grow it. I think that the biggest thing that you probably want to do is lay out a pathway for your people. In other words, if they're starting out as, you know, a grunt, is doing maybe database work or just doing some basic stuff for you, lay out a pathway to say, hey, here's what I need you to do if you want to rise up to the next level to get a higher piece of the pie. Here's the skill set I need you to acquire to do that. So again, it's a never-ending battle, and as long as you're dealing with people, it's a challenge. I remember a buddy of mine once said to me, he said, in perfect world, I'd have a $900 million company and no employees. So whenever you're dealing with people, it's a challenge. And having done it on every level, whether it be a team or running a brokerage, it's a challenge. It's all I can tell you. So again, don't beat yourself up over it. You know, keep optimistic about it. Keep doing what you're doing, because at the end of the day, you gotta kiss all those frogs before you can get that prince. You know, you got to just keep doing that. If that's your desired and end goal, and it can be productive for you, and it can make you some money. But I think you're on the right pathway with at least trying to lay it out in writing. Here's the business plans for your team, so that you know what everybody's position is and what their expectations are. And setting expectations is huge. So good luck with that.
Let me ask you guys this, because I know a lot of us mentor people with full-time non-CRE jobs, and CRE is the side hustle until it's been with the goal of making it become the full-time hustle. Would you let or accept somebody who was a non-CRE full-time person onto your team? Yeah, I'm seeing head shake. Yeah, that's what I
It
figured.
has to be a commitment to be in our profession, Chad. Or,
Yeah, I agree.
yeah,
I mean, look, the low hanging fruit here was like, just in my case, like doing lead gen, and maybe it's at a place that's geographically distant from me. I have boots on the ground in that location, right? But then if they're working 9 to 5 and they can't go do a showing or open a door, then what the hell's the point, right? So it was like, um, because obviously the number one people that ask me about the team part is, my mentees as they come through, and it's like, yeah, maybe, but like you're full time, so how's that going to work?
yeah. Sorry, somebody was texting me about the Zoom we're doing.
Chad, that
Nelson?
mentality comes over from the residential side.
Say that again.
That mentality, that part-time mentality comes over from the residential side.
Sure.
For years, people were doing part-time residential and just the got embedded in the industry that you can do that in commercial, and you can't. Impossible.
I honestly, and I'm sure some of you feel the same way, I don't speak for you, but there's probably like 2/3 part of me that really wishes that residential, because we have a separate commercial brokerage, that residential would be completely prohibited from commercial deals without co-brokering with somebody from commercial. Now, the reality of it is, I'm sure, is that EXP is not going to want to turn down revenue if somebody who has a relationship wants to carry a commercial deal by themselves on the realty side. But it just feels like, like in the mentor programs and stuff, we always talk about dealing with realty crossover agents and stuff like that. And sometimes I just feel like if you're a true crossover agent, yes. But if it's like realty people that are trying to co-broker with you and all this other stuff, I just wish it would stop. I realize that you're going to leave potentially money on the table, but it just muddies the water so much. And this whole 6 limit, you can only do 6 commercial deals on the realty side, is never enforced. So it's like, what's the point? I don't know. I'm just venting there. Sorry.
Okay,
It's on my nerves.
Nelson?
So I used to use tenant base as a source of leads coming in. I don't know if they're still providing that at a discount to EXP, but I was actively trying to recruit some of my mentees to follow up on these leads, and I'd help them make something out of it. But even new people that really needed the leads and were very motivated just really, didn't have the, you know, drive to make that call in the first 5 minutes they get the lead, or, win the heart and mind of that client quick enough to where they were loyal to you. So I don't know. But I think bringing somebody in that wants to be doing commercial real estate and needs a source of opportunities, tenant base may be one. Or if you have your own AI generated opportunities that, if you have so much you can't follow up on it, then somebody could get some experience doing that. But I think without the leads is, if you got to do it yourself, find the leads, work the leads, create the relationships. It's a very hard thing to do. I actually came into the commercial real estate business for working for a developer and doing the leasing on new projects. So, I had an inflow of I controlled one end of things. I had a product. I knew what it was going to lease for, what the landlord wanted. I had marketing material to go out and talk to people about. And when leads came in, I was the one who took the leads. And so, it was a way to get your pipeline going. And after a period of time, you have enough ongoing opportunities that, you keep taking leads every day and you're working leads that you've been working on, and the income comes. But just trying to get new sales like Marcus and Millichap, come in, make 100 calls a day, try and find new owners to talk to. It's a very tough road, even for someone with experience and knowledge like me.
Yeah. The lead gen component, I don't believe will be hard for me. If I spend $1,500 a year on marketing right now, that would be a high guess, and I generate probably 10 to 20 leads a month. And that's, the second I start applying any money towards the marketing, that's going to go way up, obviously. So that I feel like the lead gen part, I don't want to sound too braggadocious or whatever, but that part I think is pretty easy for me to ramp up. But again, it's also like, are they going to handle the leads right? You get some agents that are like, because it's not my lead, I don't have the relationship. They're not as invested in trying to make, get the sale going or drive it forward, right? I don't know. I'm not normally a guy who second guesses myself a lot, and setting this team group thing up has me second guessing myself for some reason. I don't know why.
Okay, well, in about 2.5 weeks, you have an opportunity to visit with a lot of people in Miami
Yeah.
Beach and talk about that. Max, you got your hand up.
Yeah, I was going to say, Chad, I had run 12 mentees last year, and this year I just worked with only one or two. And the fact is, because I learned that some of the people that they have no commercial experience and they have not closed anything in the last 2-3 years, they come to try to join us, or join me rather, is not worth the headache and the babysitting that you're going to put into it. And you end up getting yourself so mad and worked up and figuring out that it's not working, I'm not doing it. As a result, I have a better and clearer head dealing with what I have in hand, the closing that I got to do, or marketing that I got to do. And that saves me a lot of time, because what happened is some, or the majority of these people, are residential and they do not have loyalty. I've seen them, they go from company A to company B to C and all that. And most of the time, it's just the personality of the people that they run into. They get attracted. And after a while, that thing kind of gets old, and they go find another broker that they join with. So I would say focus on some people that they are experienced, and then they have something to give you, and you got something to give them. It's kind of two-way. If you're going to spend all your time trying to please them and you're not getting anything back, why the heck you want to do it? Simple as that.
Sure.
All right, we got 3 minutes left on this recording. Are we good to go ahead and change subjects right now?
Thank you, everybody. That was helpful.
Okay,
Sure.
thank you. Wanted to get a couple things in since we have the recording on, so everybody can get it. In terms of announcements, things coming up, everybody's aware that EXPCon is coming up quickly. Some of us are going to that. That's here on this call right now. Some of us may have VIP tickets. Some of us may have the general admission tickets. Just keep in mind that all of us have the opportunity to bring a great guest with us. And it doesn't cost them any registration fee, but their ticket will be the same level you are. So if you are VIP, then your guest will be VIP as well. And I say that because right now, some of us may need more than one Explorer pass, and we only get one, each of us do. So reach out to me if you happen to be a VIP, and this is coming out on the recording as well. And you do not have a guest coming. We do have other VIP folks who would love for you to sign up their guest on that Explorer pass so that their guest can attend as well and learn more about EXP. That makes sense, right? What I just said?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. Or even general admission. If you're not going to use your Explorer pass, and we know people who need more than one Explorer pass. That's why we say that. And wouldn't it be crazy if 50% of the people there were our Explorers in a future event? That would be thousands of guests showing up at an EXPCon. That'd be crazy, wouldn't it? But evidently the Explorer Pass is pretty tremendous. They have their own lounge as well, and they get special attention, which is what we're all looking for. might fit into group, you might be talking to that one broker who has 100 commercial brokers, and they just need to show up to understand what's really going on in the entire business model, because they're looking for that. Second thing, on November 13th to 14th, Atlanta, we keep posting things in workplace. Go to the workplace pages that are commercial, EXP commercial certified advisors, business brokerage, all that. Chad will get you in a second. Come to Atlanta. We're celebrating 4 years, EXP commercial. If you're an icon and you're watching this recording, you need to show up in Atlanta to that meeting, to our birthday celebration and a day-long IRL, because that is one of your official meetings you can go to pick up your points to get some more of your stock. So make sure you do that. Rich Enderlin is one of our speakers. He's here today. He will be speaking at our November 14th IRL. The hotel link and the registration link is on those flyers that Eric Clark and I keep posting. It's $49 early bird, $79 after you miss it. October 19th, it goes to $79. Guests are $35. And that's what I have for announcements. Chad, you got your hand up for announcement, or you got something else?
Just a question.
Yes, sir.
Is anybody in commercial buying a VIP pass to the event? And if so, why? I'm just curious.
Am I a VIP? Is that what you're asking?
Well,
Yeah,
yeah, and if so,
any-
did you
any
pay
of us.
for it? What's the benefit for a commercial person to buy a VIP pass?
Well, you'll probably have opportunity to have a lot more conversations with people outside of the keynote speakers and the breakout sessions, because who have been around the company for years and who are major influencers, they may have thousands of folks in their downline, which creates a major opportunity for you as a commercial person, because their downline doesn't have commercial in there. And I've experienced that since day one. I've been going ever since, and I've been VIP every time. And you will be in everything, and you have the opportunity to hook up with people at any time. It's all about networking. I promise you, it's about networking. That's all it is, Chad. In my case, I don't know about anybody else, but that's what I do.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yeah.
Okay. It's really a good investment in yourself, no matter which ticket you go to. If you show up at EXPCon, you're really investing in a great opportunity for yourself. You really are. Lots of learning situations, but more importantly, lots of networking situations. Anybody else? Any announcements before I turn off the recording? Nope. Okay. Well, one last time, I'll remind everybody on this recording, do not show up next Monday. It's Columbus Day. It's a federal holiday. I will not be hosting it. Sorry, won't be there for you. We'll be there the following Monday. Okay. Let me turn
Yeah, I
off
have
the
one
recording.
announcement real quick.
Oh, go ahead, Nelson.
Jim Long is hosting another Top Agent Nation tomorrow at 10 a.m. Central Time. And I will be the guest talking about ESG and sustainability. So anybody want to join, I'd love to have you participate.
Okay, so the link, you talk about the one that we have at 10 o'clock Central Time, right? The link for that, for all those watching the recording, is topagentsecrets.com. That is the link, correct, Nelson?
Yes.
That's all you got to do is in your URL, topagentsecrets.com. And that takes you straight to Zoom. Okay. All right. Anything else? I'll turn off the recording.